Rain painted the city in streaks of silver, blurring street lamps, turning the world into a watercolor of neon and shadow. You stood under the awning of the small cafe, coat pulled tight against your body, phone clenched in your hand. 10 missed calls. All from him. The last text simply read, "Get in the car, now." And there it was. A sleek, black car, purring like a predator on the curb, tinted windows hiding a man inside. The door opened without a word. You hesitated for half a breath before sliding in. The leather was soft, expensive. The air inside smelled like cigars and cologne, heavy and dangerous. "YN," he said, voice slow and smooth like a knife wrapped in velvet. "Adriano," you replied, just as easily. He hated when he used his full name. That was his first name, the only one he let anyone barely use. He turned to look at you, sharp jaw and dark eyes, and never missed a detail. That tailored suit probably concealing at least 2 guns and a dagger tucked into his boot. "You ignored me," he said, studying you like a wolf. You shrugged. "You don't own me." His lips twitched. Not quite with a smile, not quite with anger either. "Everyone belongs to someone, sweetheart. You just haven't accepted it yet." "That a threat?" you asked, eyebrow raised. "It's a promise." The car slid into the traffic like a ghost, the city slipping past in a blur. He knew better than to ask where you were going. If he wanted you somewhere, it meant either one of 2 things. Someone had made a mistake, or he was in the mood to remind you why you'd fallen into his orbit in the first place. And right now, the air between you two was charged. Voltage. He leaned back in his seat, legs spread like he owned the world. And it's maybe because he did. Every time you walked into a club, a restaurant, even just down the street with him, people moved, stepped aside, and bowed their heads. He wasn't just a man. He was a myth, carved out of bullets and blood, and old world charm. "You've been avoiding me?" he asked, voice deceptively soft. You met his gaze. "Been busy." "With what?" "That art internship. That gallery full of starving artists who think that canvas and cheap wine are enough to survive?" You frowned. "That's my life. You don't get to mock it because you're sitting on a pile of stolen cash." His eyes glittered dangerous, but underneath, the offense was there. There was pride. You stood up to him. You always had. He reached out suddenly, gloved hand curling around your jaw. Not hard, not enough to hurt, just enough to remind you who you were dealing with. His thumb brushed against your cheekbone, slow and almost reverent. "You think I don't know when you disappear? That I don't have eyes that go everywhere you go?" His voice dropped lower. "When I'll let you play your little games of independence, but don't you go forgetting where home is." "And where is that?" you challenged. He leaned in, his lips brushing yours. "Anywhere I am." Silence felt like snow between you. The car pulled into a private garage beneath one of his properties. One of many. He didn't speak as he got out, but he followed like he always did. Upstairs, it was marble and shadow gold veined counters and floor-to-ceiling windows and a skyline view that whispered secrets. He poured himself a glass of whiskey and another one for you. Though he didn't drink, he liked rituals. He liked control. "You know why I'm mad?" he asked, sitting down on the leather couch. "I don't know." "Because I didn't text back?" you offered. He didn't respond right away. just watched you. That look. The one that stripped you bare. I had to put a bullet in someone today. A rat. Someone I let too close. He took a slow sip of his drink. And all I could think about was whether you were okay. You blinked. I know it's not fair. I know you didn't sign up for this, but you're in it now. And I'm not the kind of man who just lets go of what's his. Your heart thudded in your chest. Not fear. Not entirely, at least. Something darker, something deeper. The part of you that liked danger. That liked him. You can't cage me, he said softly. He stood, crossing the distance between the two of you in 3 strides. His hand slid to your waist, pulling you close. I don't want to cage you, baby. I want to protect you. But protection costs freedom. That's the deal. Your breath caught. You hated how easily he could unravel you. How he could walk into your life and drag you from the safety of your routine, and suddenly the world bent around him. I don't need saving, you shot back. No, you don't. He agreed, his lips brushing against her ear. But I do. That made you freeze. He exhaled, forehead pressing against yours. You're the only thing in my life that hasn't brought fear. He took a second, looking at you. You weren't bought. You weren't threatened. Or loyal out of fear. And I don't know how to live without that. Your hands curled into his thick, expensive leather jacket. Then maybe try living with it, you offered. A beat. A breath. Then his lips were on yours. Rough. Claiming like he was marking some unforbidden territory. The kiss you two shared wasn't soft. Not in the slightest, but it was honest. And when he pulled back, his eyes were raw. You stay with me tonight, he said, not a question. You nodded, and he led you to a bedroom. One hand lightly against the small of your back, and you realized something chilling and beautiful. In a world built in blood and betrayal, somehow you were the most dangerous thing in it, because he would burn it all for you. And that kind of power, that wasn't love. That was war, and maybe a little bit of love.